Good afternoon, Jan.
Hi, Michael. How are you doing
Doing very well.
on the other side of Thanksgiving?
Yes, yeah, yeah. It was a good Thanksgiving. Yeah, we
Hmm.
didn't. Yeah, Jenny and I didn't do our usual food prep. Left that to my parents, and yeah, had a nice relaxing time.
Okay,
Yeah, but we'll take Christmas.
that's gonna be the next big party.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
Mm.
Yeah, I was researching how to smoke a ham, and uh, yeah, I think actually we are just going to go for the old fashioned spiral cut, you know,
Okay,
pre you know pre-made, just warm it up kind of ham. But yeah, one of these days I do want to try smoking a ham, but just probably on a smaller event, just a few of us.
mm. And you are gonna make that.
Yes.
Okay, I don't try to cook. I count for that on my wife.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I
No.
I I, uh, I enjoy it. In fact, Jenny and I do a meal prep every weekend. So on Sundays
Hmm?
we make the meals together for the whole week and just put them in the fridge.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a good time. Yeah, we're usually done in less than a couple of hours for a whole week's
that's
worth of
fast.
food. So, yeah,
But that's preparation for every meal of the week.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It really
Okay.
really takes it takes one decision off your mind. It's like, oh, what are we gonna have for dinner? Well, you just open the fridge and you pick. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Mm.
I'll have the soup, or I'll have the
Mm.
spaghetti, whatever.
That's well prepared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
And how have you
I
been?
do it. I do it easier.
Mm.
Like today is my wife's birthday. So
Oh
after this
yes,
session,
yes.
later, yeah, in the evening,
Uh-huh.
we'll be going. I invited her to go and eat something with some friends. But so that will
Excellent.
be in a restaurant because if I have to cook,
Yeah.
it's not gonna work. But she doesn't know yet. And
No.
already before midnight, she was already a little bit disappointing. Nothing is happening for my birthday.
Mm.
I say, when is your birthday? Today or tomorrow? So I say,
Yeah.
there is a surprise for you, but you have to be patient. She always tells me that she likes surprises,
Uh-huh.
um, but now she's very impatient
Mm-hmm.
for the last week.
Well, is it still a
But okay,
surprise for her if she knows that there's a surprise? She just doesn't know what it is. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. At least she has something to look forward.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, she will think there is nothing coming.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, but okay.
Yeah, and then she might make
So
plans and say, "No, I'm just gonna go out to dinner with my friends. You stay home."
yeah, and then we have a time conflict.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. The whole week she has been guessing
Mm.
who's coming. Is it that one? Is it that one? Is it that one?
Ah, excellent.
But she guessed the right person, but I didn't
But you
tell
didn't
her.
tell her.
Yeah. Okay. Beside that, but I only did it now, so you probably didn't see it yet. I think about 30 minutes ago,
Mm.
I sent you a link to a private GitHub repo
Excellent.
with Navis inside. Um, I cleaned it up a little bit in that sense that a lot of old stuff, which is not used anymore, I removed it. Some customer stuff I also removed. But for the rest, the full source code is there. If you have Visual 6 and you would try to compile it, it compiles, but it doesn't run without a Sentinel key on it.
Mm.
But so there you can just leave out the protection stuff.
Okay.
It just goes and looks sometimes for the keys. The only place where you need sometimes you need some information from the key. For example, the customers have to pay by report every inspection they do. And so every report is also has an official number. And so that number is stored in the key. and so it's incremented every time.
Okay.
But so that logic is still in the code, but you can remove it. I left the error handling with all the line numbering. So that's an error handling that I built myself in beginning of the century,
Mm.
which adds line numbering to Visual Basic. But so on every release,
Yeah.
I have to run it again.
Yeah,
I
you
left
showed
it in
that.
because it's an easy way for us
Oh,
to
right.
talk about the code.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
have the line numbers
Mm-hmm.
because the line numbers in GitHub they are separate for every file, and here it just continues. Now, if you cannot run it, I also have included. Wait, I will show you. Yeah, I will show you the repo. It's this one.
Let's see. I'm trying to get the screen share. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
No, these portions can on internet. It's just not the complete repo,
Mm.
but the portions of the code. So the main routine with all this the whole state machine
Mm. Yep.
is in this start and control
Wow.
file.
Yeah.
So that's a module. It's called control loop, and so that's called from every form, from every inspection form, and so it can be the main form, can be the header form. The header form is
Oh,
the one
wow.
that contains the client data and the system data,
Mm-hmm.
and then, but that's quite simple. For example, if you press on the quit button of that form, it says, "Do you want to stop now?" And if you say yes, then return to main finished.
Mm-hmm.
And if you click the next test, then he will convert some numbers. He will save the header in the database.
Uh-huh.
If proof which is test 5 has to go before test 1, then he will go to test 5.
Mm.
and otherwise he will ask you, do you want to start with test number 3? If so, he will go to test number 3A, and otherwise he will start with test number 1. So you see the
Yeah.
whole mess. But then, for example, test number 1, which starts here on line 2125, and so that goes until where? Until test number 2 starts, which goes until 2798. So that's a very big case statement. And it was even so that, so you have test number 2, you have test number 3, and in the end it was such a huge procedure that I had to split it up. Yeah, you see, if you get to test number 4A, he calls control loop 4A, which is a separate subroutine.
Yeah.
Because the subroutine was getting too long. VB was complaining. But actually, which was not too bad to do it that way.
Yeah.
It's more divided in that way.
Yeah. So
Now
I think one thing that obviously would make it easier would be to separate it by the form. So do you have some logic that is shared among all the forms? Is that the reason why it's all one function?
Well, No, and that's why, for example, here, so test 4D,
Oh,
you
okay.
have a test 4A, a
Yeah.
test 4D. That's a separate form. So every
Right.
test has its own form. So it is a little bit separated by form. But I started putting it in one big
Mm-hmm.
in one big control, in one big loop. And the thing is, a lot of these forms, they influence each other also.
Oh, right. Yeah.
A lot of these tests.
Yeah.
So last time, you probably don't don't remember it anymore because it's such a mess. But we had test one, and at a certain moment, when you reach a certain weight, he jumped to test number 4. He did the test for that weight, and then he continues one where you
Yeah.
add more
Yeah. I
weights,
remember that.
and then he will jump back to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for example, in test 3D, you will use results from test 1. So there is a lot of interaction between all these tests.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I have to make every test really its own object
Yes.
to encapsulate all the logic of a test in a single object. Um, that's the only possibility, I guess. Now, the one, wait, if I go to another document here, wait, let me make that a little bit bigger, like this. I also added the validation file
Mm-hmm.
inside the inside the repo. Validation file is to have the software validated for the Belgian government.
Okay. Right.
Long ago they approved it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just have to do it for my customers, and they show it to the government during an audit.
Mm-hmm.
I had a set of tests where I had the correct results.
Mm.
So every time I have to input all these values and see whether the result is still the good one.
Ah, okay. But you've got those tests documented? Because what I'd like to do is
Yeah.
automate that test.
Well, I you see them now.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Okay.
in total, it were 8 tests here. You can see them.
Yeah.
So these tests, yeah. So okay, that's the validation thing. Then the release notes of the
Mm-hmm.
all the versions. Okay. So and then we get. So that was for version 1.15.0, which was released in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And then test number 1.
Okay.
First we go to the setup. So there are print screens of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the settings here. All the setup is there. Then that is the header screen. So what type of inspection are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the customer? And what is the weighing equipment? With all the parameters here. So they are. So you see here
Mm-hmm.
this step. The next screen is the next step, and so on. So all the input is documented.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you start, he asks, do you go first to test 3 or you go to test 1? You press go to test 3 first. Here are the results of test 3 before I push go to the next test.
Uh-huh.
And then he will show you the results of, yeah, here he was in test 1. He goes to test 4, the first, goes back to test 1, goes again to test 1.
Mm-hmm.
You see some more.
Add
Um,
some values that are not in the required set.
but goes back to test 4, goes back to test 1. You didn't reach the maximal value yet. do you still want to make another substitution, or do you consider the test as completed? But so there is a lot of logic in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he finishes test 4, then he goes back to test 1, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now,
So yeah, this. So yeah, I definitely want to use these screenshots, and AI can parse the screenshots and infer what all those different inputs mean. So I want to use these screenshots in order to create an end-to-end test, so that it actually runs this logic, in addition to, of course, doing the very targeted, focused unit tests.
because there are in that software there are no tests at all in the software itself. So I think I have to change that. That would make my life a lot easier. But anyway,
indeed.
for example, there the values were stored directly in the fields on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no decoupling between the view itself and the view model.
Right.
So it was quite complicated.
Yeah. So so yeah, this is a big refactoring and replatforming project. With any refactoring project, you need a comprehensive set of tests around the system before you start refactoring. Otherwise, you're just making changes, and you don't know if the changes subtly alter the behavior. So I think the first step would be to generate a suite of tests in place. So with the unchanged Visual Basic code, and then we can use that suite of tests to perform the first round of refactoring within Visual Basic. Let's explore two different paths. So we could do the first round of refactoring in Visual Basic to break apart things into different different forms, view models. The controller logic might be in the view model. There might be something else. So find what those patterns are, and then translate from Visual Basic to C#, using those patterns. Or the alternative is we generate that suite of tests in Visual Basic, and then we translate the tests, and then we start building up C# code that passes the tests. So basically, we are recording the behavior of the existing system, and then using that behavior to generate a new system.
I think the last option would be, in my eyes, the best, because in VB you have a lot of limitations. So already to make a test suite, with that structure of the software, is gonna be complicated.
It is, but we've got tools, so we can give that a shot. In fact, we can give that a shot right now and see where that goes. So is that what? Does that sound like the right next direction?
Absolutely. Now, for example, but the test suite will really be part of the software then. Because it's gonna read the fields in the screens itself, and it should even enter the data in the fields.
And that's we'll want to generate that test in situ with the existing code. So that's going to be kind of interesting, because it's going to have to, within the test, inject values into forms. In the C# version, we'll want it to test against the view model. So that means there is going to be an architectural shift during the translation of the tests. Whereas right now it's the input to the test is a set of forms. Over here, input to the test is a set of view models. So hopefully that architectural change won't be significant that it messes up the tests in the translation. Yeah, that still sounds like a good experimental direction. See if that's gonna bear fruit.
Because I've never tried to build in tests in VB
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. I haven't either, but I'm certain it's possible. Yeah.
We can try it. Then I best start my virtual machine, I guess.
Yeah, I can take over at this point. I've got the code cloned now, and I'll try a few passes, just see what works, and then and then you can go through these same steps, whatever we find works, on your own.
Yeah.
So that way
at your site, do you? Because you probably have to open it in VB6.
Yeah. I do not have VB6 installed, but let's.
VS Code does it have VB6 capability?
Well, let's just try a few things and see what works. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to grab the code in. So I'll start with cursor, because if this works, this is going to be the tool that's most accessible to you. And if it doesn't work, we can switch to a more powerful tool. So let's share that screen. Okay. So now we are looking at cursor with the source code loaded in over here. And the one that we are most interested in, here it is the, oh goodness, what was that called? It was, what was the name of that file that had the...
that was at control loop.
Control, share, start and control. Yeah, that's the...
Yeah, start and control.
Yeah, okay. So let's focus it on this one and see what it's able to do.
I don't see your screen now.
Oh, you don't.
Right, I'm still sharing. I will stop sharing, and then you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm in cursor. I've got start and control, and so I'm going to start with ask mode. And I'm going to leave it on Opus 4.5. That is, at the moment, the most capable model. Some things that we might want to try at some point, switch to auto or use Composer. Composer is actually pretty good. It's a model that Cursor themselves have created. But let's start off with the big guns. So, yeah, I want to create a test suite around, and then I'll just use @ to bring in start and control.bas. And then I'll just say, give me some options. So, letting it do a little bit of research. How are we going to write tests for a Visual Basic thing?
You already found out that it's indeed VB6.
Yep.
See, so the term Dutch, he understands the language.
Yeah. Okay, so option 1, extract and unit test the business logic. So that's what it recommends. So create a new module just with that business logic. All right. So it requires refactoring in order to decouple from the UI. So that's one of the cons of that, which does run the risk of, during that refactoring, we change something. And so at this point, we don't have the test. So if we refactor now, we could break it. So we can use a VB6 unit testing framework. And so this just calls control loop with conform header. So this might be able to unit test it without making any changes. Manual integration scenario testing with test harness. So the tests real flow, or it tests the real flow without mocking. It's slow and it requires running the full app. If that's possible, that's probably not the worst way to start. Automated testing, so that again runs the full app. Then it just exercises the forms. Characterization tests. Run the app with known inputs, save all outputs, and rerun and compare against the gold master. Yeah, that's useful for applications that don't have a user interface. But then, what else have we got?
Can it not fill in the fields of option 5? On the application with
maybe.
known inputs.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
yeah, I might be able to do that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and then import to .NET for testing. So rather than use VB6, rewrite it in C# and then start testing. That's not what we want to do. So given the structure, I'd suggest hybrid. So immediately extract the calculation function into a testable module and use simply VB unit or manual debug assert. Then medium term, create a test harness to script common scenarios, and then add auto-it scripts. So this immediate extract the calculation function, that was option 1, and that that does run a little bit of a risk, but I think that puts us in a good place now that we are just focusing on that business logic. So
yeah, but that is only testing a few routines. Which is not the flow of the program, which is not the logic. For example, the DBL fout is the error calculation, and then the MTF maximale toelaatbare fout, so the maximal allowed error. And display was just about indeed formatting the rounding of the numbers. Which was actually an afterthought in the program. Ballast calculations, but it's not.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
The screen logic.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So it's really this entry point right here that we want to test. So let's clarify. I want to cover control loop. Yeah, let's just give it that goal. And then it will refine its recommendations. So yeah, it has to read it in chunks.
I coded it in chunks also.
Yeah.
It took me a much longer time than that. Uh,
Okay. Oh, it's doing the control loop analysis. There we go.
mhm.
So, show header, next test, quit. Approximately 800 lines of waiting logic, repeatability, eccentric load.
Yeah, which is correct.
Yeah. Okay, so it depends on these forms. It depends on module state and some helper functions, external classes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So option A, extract the testable logic into pure functions. So that sounds like a little bit more refactoring than I would like for the first pass. Option B, state-based integration tests with mock forms. Stub forms that capture calls without showing UI. That sounds like a really good compromise.
Mhm.
And then scenario test harness, which I do want to eventually get to, but maybe we do the scenario tests with the mock forms. Decision table tests. Document and test each branch combination. I'm not sure what that means. So it says start phase 1 with extract and test calculations, and then create the test harness. So I would prefer to change the code under test as little as possible. Yeah, so here I'm being very careful not to give it my preference. As soon as you state your preference, it's going to now start to try to confirm. So it'll say, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do all these things. So I stated my preference for not changing the code under test. I didn't state my preference for option B.
Okay, yeah.
So UI automation tests is the most practical. VB6 test harness with API message box hooking. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, it's still going. Yeah, it's gotten down to the point where it wants to write a whole bunch of code. So usually that's a signal that it's got enough information to go, because Opus or any of the cloud models in particular, they they favor code. They will generate code as soon as they've got enough information to do so. So we got the characterization tests. Okay, I'm thinking that maybe the UI automation might be the best way to go. So before we get started on the UI automation, I'd want to make sure that I can run that automation. So what prerequisites?
I think it will need some tools for that.
Yeah, because I currently don't have VB6.
Which I also don't have.
Okay. So now we can. Yeah, it's really saying, okay, I wanna write some tests. Let's go. Yeah, and here's how you run them. So I'm thinking it's time to. Well, let's go through a plan first. So let's not just jump straight into it. So I do not have VB6 installed. I have .NET 10 and Visual Studio. So write a plan to set up all the prerequisites. Prerequisites. Okay, so it's going to ask a few clarifying questions. I really like this this new addition right here to Cursor. It used to just dump the questions out and you'd have to type, but now there's actually a questions tool with the user interface. So, do you have a working executable that you can run the test against? No, I need to build it first. What is your primary testing goal? To add tests to let's see. It's really going to be, yeah, it's not really one of those things. So I'll answer it in text. My primary testing goal is to create a test harness to ensure no behavior changes as I refactor. So I'll give it that. All right, so now it understands the situation. You just grab some code and you've got nothing to start with. So I got to do all the work. This creates a challenge. You need a compiled executable in order to run tests, but you don't have VB6 to build it. Yes. It's like, what are you thinking? Come on, dude.
That's not a problem. I can run it here, or I can just take out the protection, build it, and send it to you. That's not a...
Oh, that's true, yeah. Yeah.
Because the code I can transfer it to you like this, to send you a Sentinel key. That's not going to happen today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I told it that I could install Visual Basic 6. So let's make sure that I'm not a liar there. Install VB6. Search.
It should be still available in MSDN.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get the links. Alright. In the meanwhile, it's created a... Alright, so from MSD and Visual Studio Media, install VB6. Yeah, so I'm trying to find that
I'm running it in Windows XP. I'm not sure it runs under Windows 10.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's why I always run it on a virtual machine.
Yeah. Okay, so let's back up and take a different. Yeah, I want to kind of explore a few paths, and then before trying to go down one for a long time. So what about so right here I'm going to come back to this, which means it will forget everything that happens after that point. And so staying in ask mode. So I want to cover a control loop. So now can we extract control loop and mock the dependencies with minimal change. So now I am giving it a little bit more of my preference for what the solution is, but But yeah, that's going to direct it down a different path of the tree. Yes! And you can see right there is like, oh, I've entered confirmation bias territory. Here's a strategy that minimizes changes while enabling testing. The key is conditional compilation and module level indirection. Okay, we're generating some code. It's got a whole bunch of if testing, then create a test double module. All right, so now let's throw the next curveball at it, and say, yeah, can this test be run in VB.net? And that's queued up, so as soon as it stops generating code, it'll... Okay, come on. All right. Now there's the hard part. Yes, there are several options. Com interrupt, test VB6 from VB.net. Set up. So yeah, this is still compiled as VB6 test into VB.net. So option 2, port logic to VB.net. So let's set it down that path and see what happens. And then you can try out some of the other paths. Like since you've got your virtual machine set up and you can run the VB6 application, then you could use cursor to try to create the test harness around VB6. So let's go ahead and create a plan for option 2. Well, let's get to the bottom so we can see. Start with option 2. Yep. Yeah. Write a plan for option 2. And just to keep things nice and clean, I'm going to close that plan there. Okay. So now it wants to extract. And now it already has in context my preference for changing the code under test as little as possible. So while it's extracting, it should keep that goal in mind. But at this point, it's just writing the plan to do that. So those instructions might end up explicitly in the plan. Or when we run the plan, we'll run it with this session still in context. So it will have those instructions somewhere in the session. All right. So yeah, there's since we're going down this path right now, and it's porting the logic to VB.net from VB6, it seems like it's just a little bit farther to report the logic to C# instead of VB.net. So that might also be a path to explore. But yeah, I think I want to let it do this one and see what happens. So extract the peer calculations from start and control, import them to VB.net, and test with XUnit. The VB6 code remains unchanged. Yeah, we're not using it. The VB.net port serves as a testable reference implementation. So we report the utility functions, create the value type, which Okay, so this is pulling things out of form header.
Yep.
Yeah. And importing the calculation functions. Then the result determination logic. And write some tests. Oh, and it's already got a bunch of tests that it wants to do. It doesn't feel like it's a complete set of tests, but it's a really good start. After porting equivalence, verify equivalence by creating test cases with known VB6 outputs, running the same inputs through VB.NET code. Yeah, comparing the results within floating point tolerance. So it's actually testing the calculations to do that. All right, and there's our checklist. So I'm just going to hit the big yellow button and see what it will do for us. Okay, so we are going to make now as tests. And do a .NET new solution. So brand new solution inside of that test folder. And then we're going to do a class library called now as core. The language is VB, and it's .NET 8. That'll be sufficient. Then we do our unit tests with XUnit, and that will also be VB with .NET 8. Okay, add those projects to the solution. And if I take a look here, we should see here's the new test folder. It's got a solution file. It's got these two project files. And now we need to add a reference so that tests can see core. Yeah, clean up the class 1 and unit test 1. Yeah, and now it's just gonna go to town. So we've got our number formatting VB. Here it comes. So it looks like it's starting with helper functions first. So going from the inside out. Yeah. Yeah, so while it's working, there's another tool that that I haven't used before, so I didn't reach for it today. But the GitHub Copilot's modernizer. So it's we talked about that I think last time where it's advertised to update from one version of .NET to another. So yeah, I would like to give that a try and see if it's any good at updating from VB6 to .NET 10.
That could be.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think no matter how we get there, as long as we have a comprehensive set of tests, then we can follow that strategy of using that just extracting those tests into a new project, and then just build the new project with the desired architecture to pass those tests. Now that will make it difficult to kind of compare back and forth with the original code and say, okay, I see what it's doing there and it's doing that there, as opposed to modernize the code without changing its architecture and then apply refactorings. Then at least you'll see the refactorings one by one. But yeah, I think all of these options are available. All right, result determination. So let's see if we can find, like here, scale configuration. That looks like that's a data structure. Weighing calculations. Yeah, so as we look at this code here, does it look familiar, or does it look like it's doing just a whole bunch of rewriting?
No. Well, it is rewriting a little bit, but it's on the right track. That's
Okay.
that's clear.
Okay. All right, so that says it's everything. That doesn't seem like everything. Or maybe it's just... Yeah, maybe it's just the first pass, and it has to work its way up. Let's go back to the plan and look at the to-do list. Wow, it says it got through all of this. Port result determination logic from control loop. Yeah, it feels to me like there's still a lot of behavior that was in control loop that it did not port.
Well, it has especially the subroutines that are called by control loop.
Yeah.
But I think not the workflow.
Okay. Okay, so there might be a few more passes of this that make sense. So yeah, when it's finished making these tests pass, then we can come back probably with a brand new session, so it doesn't have any of this kind of poisoning that session.
Yeah.
But then ask it what functionality in control loop is not represented in the test project.
Okay, and then it discovers itself that it is lacking.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have 95 tests. That's that's a bigger number than before.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, so we can take a look at the quality of the tests. So it's testing some parsing. Okay. So a lot of parsing tests, which are probably not likely to have failed. So, yeah, I don't see a whole lot of quality. I mean, they're not bad tests, but
I saw something like inline test there. He was writing. What is he meaning by that?
Did you see that in the code here? Or?
No, in the code just now. I think in the result determining test. No.
You said inline.
Inline. Yeah.
Oh, inline
Here.
data. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. This is from XUnit. A theory is a test that has parameters. So you've got your PR5 before PR1 Boolean. User wants PR3 first, and then the expected value. So these are different scenarios within that theory.
Okay.
So if I pass true and false, then I expect PROEF5. So yeah, that's a way of writing 4 tests without writing 4 different functions.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so let's try this. I'm going to replace that chat. It's still in the history, so I can always get back to it like this. But, and in fact, let me get back to that so that I can say keep all, just to get rid of that user interface there. Okay, now replace it, and so review the test solution with respect to, let's see,
Start control loop.
Yeah, where is, there it is. Okay, yeah, control loop in start and control, and switch to ask. What features are not yet covered? Let's read the test files. Boom. Continue reading control loop. There's a lot of reading. So we got form navigation, commands, and proof. So I think it is coming to the right conclusion that we don't have control under test. Complex navigation scenarios, yeah. Okay. Features already covered are those 3 things. Features not yet covered, proof, result determination, ballast calculation and interpolation, display formatting functions, delta L validation logic, load sorting. I really want to talk about the the control, because I would like to see if it's able to mock the forms in order to do the control determination. Yeah, so let's see if we can find an example to point it at.
That's more to the back, yeah.
So we're down here.
That's number 2. We'll still go down. Yep, it must be there. A little bit up.
Okay.
Oh, are we? 3, yeah, a little bit up. More. That's the one here.
Okay.
Okay, so form proof 3A.
All right. So I will copy that line. Actually, I'll just add that to the chat. Now it knows exactly where it is in the file. And How do we cover? This logic.
Because 3A is the most the most simple one.
Good, good.
So
Good starting point then. Yes.
yeah.
Oh, it says,
No.
okay, part of it is already covered, but not yet covered is navigation. Yeah, okay, so we're getting to the right place.
Did we add everything in the context, also the forms?
We didn't add it to the context. However, when it starts here, it can then see what it references and decide when to pull those in. So, suggested load for the next row. So the proposed test cases. So that's really what I want to do. This one. Well, it looks like that is going to end up being a very simple case. Okay, so what I'm curious about is, do we need to mock things like message box F and forms? All right, so, oops, not here. There. Do we need to mock message box F or forms? Or to, right. Nope, not that one. I meant to give it the name of the test that it suggested. This one right here at the top. Determine navigation after proof 3A. There it is. So the key insight is, no, you don't need mocks. That's the beauty of how the existing code is structured. The pattern used in result determination extracts pure logic from the UI components. Okay. Okay, the test is simple. All right, so if you say it's so simple, let's go ahead and go straight to agent mode, because it looks like we've got enough of a plan right here. Write the test and run it. So, yeah, I'm curious about all of this logic that we see here in all these different cases. I didn't see anything resembling that logic in the code that it already translated. So I am curious where that logic ended up. If indeed,
Because that's all the logic that points to the forms, eh?
Yeah.
For example, here the dot label, that's a label on the form.
Yeah. And so yeah, you're using things like the background color in order to store state, so that then you can use that to. Yeah. I mean, it's a thing.
So
it's fine.
all the fields on the form from 0 to 16 are in an array, and so I could just run through them. But indeed, the state is stored on the form, which is terrible in today's context. But at that time, it was all right.
Yeah, well, let's just ask it. Where did this logic right here end up in the refactored form? Instead of directly accessing labeled background color, the refactored code takes a dictionary of labeled colors as input, making it testable without mocking forms. Okay. Yeah. Where ended up in determine proof 3a results. Yeah, I was hoping it would give me a link to that. So we've got our
3A results.
right there. Okay. So yeah, that looks like it's a fairly faithful translation of that bit of code. But yeah, it broke this up into different functions. What I'm confused about is this this scroll bar right here is really small. So yeah, that is definitely not everything that's in the original control loop. So yeah, I think it would take a number of iterations to truly make sure that we've got everything translated over.
Yeah.
So
no, but it's already impressive that it understands the code.
Yeah. Yeah, and certainly there are some architectural changes that we would make here. So yeah, even though it translated and said, hey, I'll have a table of known colors, you will say, well, you know what, we want to introduce MVVM, and we want this to be a property of that object, not not a style property.
Not a field in the form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can get there in a later step as soon as we've got some tests that we can start with. So the challenge here is these tests are evolving at the same time as it's rewriting the code under test, and so yeah, we have to keep going until it's got the complete code under test. But how do we know that it's got the complete code under test? And how do we know that one of these translations didn't change behavior? So yeah, I think I would also like to explore the user interface based testing.
It was the auto-hit.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to give that a try. So I think that will be your homework.
Have a look at that.
Yeah. And we'll see if that works.
It's already amazing that that we got so far. Good. So I'm going with the test 3A, as that is the most simple one for the moment. Then try the different strategies and see what comes out. Now for next week, because yesterday I got a little surprise from my youngest son. It looks like Wednesday I'm flying back to Belgium and coming back next Monday.
Okay.
So that means Thursday I will be in Belgium and I will be busy.
Okay.
He's having some IT problems, so he discovered that his father is in IT after so many years. So I say, okay, yeah, Papa, do you know anybody that can help me with that? I say, yeah. In general, when people had a problem, they came to me.
Yep.
So can you come to me? I say, yeah, okay. But so next week I will not be there.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
I think next week I'm going to have something really exciting to share. So yeah, I'll let you.
it's about what?
Uh, it's it's called Janaga Cascade. This is yeah. So my plan is to take that data processing code that I gave a quick preview of last time, and
Hmm.
make that an end user product. Um, so that's going to be useful for people even before they adopt Janaga, but then once they do, it's going to fit into that ecosystem. So yeah, I think that's going to be a good stepping stone to get to where people are adopting Janaga. So
Okay,
yeah,
I will be watching that episode offline then. Um, but okay,
very good.
we see each other in 2 weeks' time then.
Yep, yep. In 2 weeks. Yep. That.
And hopefully by that time I can show you something what you
Mhm.
show me the good way today.
Yeah, yeah. Is yeah. I think in 2 weeks it's actually Christmas Eve would be the. Wait, no, but this
um,
Thursday. It would
not
be Christmas
not
Day. Yeah.
yet. No, it's the 18th.
Oh, okay.
So next week is the 11th. So that will be the
Okay.
18th.
Yeah. Okay, we're good then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll probably
Anyway,
just take Christmas off.
yeah. If if it will not be there, just send me a message and then
Yeah.
we no problem. Okay,
All right.
Michael. See you in 2 weeks' time then.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
And
See you
thank you
then,
very
Jan.
well. Bye bye.
Bye.